our recess. We'll go ahead and get started here, so I guess however way you want to go. If you want to, somebody want to start off?
We will. Nobody else wants to.
Back Forest Service is the first on the list here anyway.
Way before Chair. I have a handout for you guys. And, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, what I just handed out was essentially an overview of the Townsend Ranger District, which is one of 6 ranger districts on the Helena, Lewis and Clark National Forest, and in the last year, the forest combined from 2 separate forests, the Helena and the Lewis and Clark, to 1. We also had ranger districts combined. We started out with 10, and we're down, no, 8, and we're down to 6. But the landscape area hasn't changed, and right now, Townsend is one of the smaller land-based ranger districts that we have. So, anyway, we're in a co-located building at the USDA Service Center, and we all split the rent. So, if anybody asks, do we own that building? We do not. We own a little parcel of land just east of town, about a half a mile for our horses and our fire station and other stuff. So, anyway, right now we have 13 permanent employees in our office, and 6 of them, 6 additional that are permanent, but on a part-time basis. So we get pretty busy from about May through October with the part-timer folks that are in there. Half of those folks that are, at least half, that are in the office don't just serve Townsend, they serve Townsend and Helena. They might serve the whole Helena side of the Helena, Lewis and Clark. They might serve the whole, what we call East Side Forest. We are all zoned and traveling and mushed to the max, serving in broader landscapes all the time. So anyway, the fire folks are a zone, they call themselves Helltown, and they have a little patch. So anyway, so they are a zone fire organization, and when we have the fire guys in here in a couple of weeks, they'll talk to you about how they work with the local rural fire folks. I just put a little blip on the services that are provided out of this office, and one of the things that we gain by having people who serve broader is, you know, we have a procurement person in our office. That's like invaluable. You buy stuff. And so that person working in our office serves the whole Helena Forest. She'll serve on fires when we have fires all over, you know, the area. And she serves on a what's called the East Side Acquisition Fee. So all the East Side Forest, she buys stuff from here to North Dakota. And and contracting. So we're very lucky to have a person with those kinds of skills right local. Same with, we have what I call a NEPA person, and she is a zone type of a person, and she has skills in that. All of our timber people are zoned. You know, we just happen to have a guy housed in our office, and he is a Forest Service representative on timber sales, so he's 1 level above a sale administrator. Very, you know, so we actually have more service activities coming out of our office now than we have in a long time, and part of it is because Townsend is a desirable place to live. Gosh. So, yeah, so I think that's part of it. So anyway, we have a lot of opportunity out of our office to provide service. We have I would call it a relatively small recreation development footprint. Our biggest infrastructure is our trail system and our trail miles, but we have a couple of campgrounds. We have 4 cabins that are on the rental program, and our biggest users are dispersed recreationists, meaning people who don't want to park and pay. They like to park and play. So tons of dispersed recreation use. We're seeing that use actually grow. We're getting people coming out of the Gallatin Valley, Silver Bow County, Lewis and Clark County. When you see, especially in hunting season, they're from all over. But regular users, we're seeing kind of an influx from the south. So it's interesting when you're out on the weekends. You could go hike the Crow Creek Falls Trail and there'd be 80 people on that trail in the time that you're on it. It's a very popular trail. We have a ATV trail system that is between Avalanche and in this county, Magpie Gulch, but it extends all the way up towards York. Pretty popular little transportation system for the folks coming out of Helena. It's kind of a local system, and we have a really good partnership with a local organization, the Capital Trail Vehicle Riders, for doing maintenance. They have applied for grants in the past, and they'll rent a little maintenance machine and work with us on that. We have quite a few folks helping with backcountry trail maintenance now, and that is where we're growing, is in partners to help us with trail maintenance. We have 2 people that come in the summertime, and they have hundreds of miles, and with all the dead trees and the blowdown, there's no way. So we're getting lots of help from folks because they want to be able to use trails. We just had the RAC meeting a couple of weeks ago, and Gail Venice was there from this county and Killickland. And so there were quite a few grants that are going into trail work, weed work, vegetation work. And that was good to see that those ranked in the money, so that's good. Where we need to do more work is on our highway signs and our portal information. We have found ourselves kind of out of the, there's a lot more in advertising going on all the time, and our sign systems and our signs haven't changed for 20 years, 30 years. And if people don't know, look for the little brown reflective sign and you'll find public land. We're so under marketing public land. So that'll take a broader national effort for us to relook at how we sign and identify that these are public lands. We're pretty settled, but I say we do better than the state. Your signs are about this big. So anyway.
I'll give it that.
That's just an aside. So anyway, the other thing that people are doing now, and to me the game was over when these 70-plus-year-old snowmobiler guys come in the office with their smartphones and they have all of our winter maps loaded on their phone that they've poached from everywhere. And they're like, oh, what's the deal with this trail over here and over here? And I'm trying to see it on their phone. The game is over for us. We are going to have to transition to more electronic map tools because that's what people want. They navigate by their phone. Even GPSs are going out because they can have a GPS system on their phone. So it's pretty interesting to see what people are doing, and companies like Avenza and Trail Trek and a few others are trying actively to get our map layers so they can download them and sell them for $1 or $2, and it's cheap, cheaper than printing. So anyway, so here's probably the last vintages of the free maps. So I can leave them upstairs if somebody wants, because those are the ones we're still give away for free. We sell them out for $10 too. So, anyway, but these tend to be focus area maps. All good stuff. I want to visit just briefly about our vegetation project work, and if you want to visit at all about John Crow, you can do it. The Cabin Gulch timber sale is wrapped up, but the contract's not closed. So when people call in and say, can we go get wood out of those units, we tell them no, because RY Timber is still effectively owns those units and has to, it's their responsibility. They actually effectively still own what's in those units. So until the sale is closed, it's not. There's going to be firewood to be got in there, and if people know how to find their way between the units, but that's the hard part to explain to people, is what does a unit look like? Plus that on top of the roadside salvage work that was done a couple years ago. People are just like, can I just go get this? And so we're trying to kind of keep them out of there and send them to the south side of the highway if we can. There's still the prescribed burning work that has to be done. There's decommissioning work, tree planting. Some planting is going on as we speak. And we did have one of the blowdown events affected some of our harvest units, and we're still cogitating on whether or not there's enough value there to put a sale together for that. The hallway drainage area had an extreme blowdown event, and so we are looking at putting up a sale for that, next week. It's about 140 acres. We talked to Ed Schindel, and we talked to the adjacent landowners. They would haul out Lippert Gulch probably as their haul route. And then the Johnny Crow Veg Project decision, I think the last time I talked to you guys, we had just made that decision end of February, and Philip was actually one of the project leads, so he can talk to that real briefly.
Just real quick, yeah. I'm kind of here discussing our contracts that we have. One thing I like to make sure that people are aware of is our contracts are usually taken by outfits out of Oregon who inevitably hire almost 100% Hispanic crews, most of them via Honduras and whatnot. So you'll be seeing white vans with saws on top, around with covered in all sorts of, language of this is a agricultural vehicle. A lot of times those are working for me, contracting in and around the areas. Which is basically, we just go through and what's called lop and scatter. We have 2 contracts in the Elkhorn, 3 contracts in the Elkhorns, 2 in the Johnny Crow project, 1 in the 88, to the tune of about $150,000. I do try to encourage the crews to overnight stay and work out of Townsend. A lot of times they find services are lacking. So they stay in Helena, but I always do put a plug for them to stay in here. Usually around 8 to 12 folks. So you'll be seeing them in June, pretty much all June.
Okay, we have other prescribed burn areas from decisions that were from, years past that we're still not done completing the work on those, and prescribed burning is so dependent on conditions that it's like if we have units on the east side of the belts, the south end of the belts, the west end of the belts, the north end of the Elkhorns, we might be able to meet our acres objectives because they're very condition dependent to meet our vegetation conditions that we're looking for. The third page is our livestock permittees. For folks that aren't familiar, the Forest Service has about 224 acres under livestock permits. That's over 7,000 animal unit months, either lambs, ewes, cows, calves. We don't have any horse or goat allotments. And it's something that provides the backdrop of this county. That we've had historical grazing back to the turn of the century and before. And so anyway, for some of these operations, it's a very integral part of their annual productivity and income. So you see small calves go to the forest and they come home bigger calves. So anyway, we have along with our range program, we have a weeds, an active weeds program. We do that through agreements with cooperatives like Broadwater County, as well as with the BLM, as well as through entities like the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Anybody who's interested in forage or vegetation conditions is an interest in supporting weed activity. So I've summarized this year's weed dollars. A lot of them are actually come through Broadwater County to go to contracts that benefit public and private land, because boundary areas and roadsides, so we don't have a contractor basically start spraying as soon as he hits a forest boundary. He starts on the private and they spray onto the forest, and we put those contracts together. It's way more efficient use of chemical and people time. For those of you, we have a 10-county master weed cooperative that we're working on. And so within each county has its own individual like task orders for utilizing funds or to award and document the funds and the project activity, but there's 10 counties involved with it, from Judith Basin to the west end of Lewis and Clark County. And Broadwater is one of our cooperators, and we appreciate it. I would say we all are still not getting ahead on the weeds. I don't know what that'll take, but we are starting to have the conversations about how to be always more efficient, and what are the infestations to be after. We're seeing new weeds come in, weeds in places we haven't seen them before. So anyway, we have cooperative spray days every year in the county, and there's 3 of them coming up. There's an annual Elkhorn Spray Day. I think that BLM participates with that one, or you guys coordinate it and we participate with you.
Yeah, Lacey.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Magpie Avalanche, and we have permittees that help with that, and then in Dry Creek, and even the landowners come down and work with us on those. And anybody who wants to, you have to work with one of our licensed applicators, and trust me, they'll teach you how to spray weeds. So, anyway, other than that, we have a 2-person crew. They are mostly roadside spraying, and the places on those spray days, we go to places that have a mix of roadside and not roadside. So you put on a backpack and you're hiking the hills. It's big fun. So anyway, that's all I had for today. Unless you guys have any questions about things that are going on. And
Any questions for Beth? Okay.
No, it's nice to have this though. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Beth.
Yep.
Okay, I guess maybe the Bureau of Reclamation will go next if we're going front to back. We're looking for an ample, bountiful water year. We're letting a lot of water out already in anticipation of, well, we're already getting high inflows for this time of year, and there's quite a bit of snowpack to be ready for. So I think we're at least 10 feet to fill right now, and kind of matching inflows right now. So I think we are going to have a full lake. It'll be maybe encroaching into the flood pool. That brings us to the county as far as having some pest control issues down there by Stage Line Flats when we get high water and whatnot. So I think we're ready to engage in that as traditionally happens. We're nervous about the hiring freeze. Now we're taking precious resources, doing exception lists and all sorts of things on a what if, which, you know, all the federal agencies have done before, but it's really frustrating and counterproductive, but it is what it is. And I think other than that, I'll let Lee talk about some more of the local things going on. Lee?
Yeah. We received 5 of the new boat docks last week. They were installed everywhere from Shannon all the way down to Goose Bay. The other 4 are coming in this Thursday. We'll be at Silos roughly 9:30 in the morning to install 3 of them there. And then we'll move up to White Earth and put 1 in up there. So far so good with these. There is a learning curve with dealing with these docks that maintenance crew up there will have to learn. But it's even a learning curve for us too. We don't, you know, we got to do experiments with them and everything, or pulling them in and out just to see what works best. So those are coming in. As far as Silos, I received, and I think I sent back to you the email for the parking lot. That's out of the Billings office. They're gonna look into the NEPA and NIPA and everything. So probably by I'd say about mid-May, we should have something confirmed. Like Tom said, water levels are going to start coming up here shortly. I mean, we've matched flows, but it's going to get, you know, that snow melts in them bigger mountains down south. We're going to start taking on a lot more. I think what, 2 out of 3 are over 100%, and one of the rivers is like at 85 or 90, something like that. So they're almost all maxed out down there as far as snowpack.
trying to stay real time with you on the silos, master planning effort, and
Yes, yes.
we're just not getting to go ahead for new starts with money with no budget passed yet, so, you know, that we've not had the best news there, but we are available to engage with the staff we have, so it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I spoke the other day with Citizen Action Group for Silos Recreation Area. I spoke with Al Christofferson the other day, just this past week, about the planning and everything. And I said, well, when we see what we can do monetary wise, I said, we'll go ahead and proceed at that moment. And with that, the federal government is runs out of money at 28th, what is that, Friday? So nobody knows what's going on as far as that goes. We'll find out.
You know, it is disappointing that BOR is not able to help with this master planning, but I very much appreciate your willingness to engage that group. That's huge, and if we have to have one or the other, I guess, still rather have both, but I'm
Yep.
grateful to have your
We have a
input.
little bit of in-kind help, which usually we're asking partners for, but that's all we can do right now.
Right, I understand and I appreciate that, so thank you.
Do you have anything else? No? Okay.
You made any questions for you, Laura?
We did get word last week that we should be hearing this week about the land transfer.
Oh.
So I don't know if you guys are very
Oh, that-
involved with that, but we're pretty excited.
At the golf course.
Yes, golf course, rod and gun club,
Yep.
softball fields and Poor Farm.
I've just heard nothing that, other than it's moving along nicely, but,
Yeah,
yeah.
A couple smaller things. They are doing some canal work up here on the wildlife management area. Yeah, cleaning of canals. We had our crew come down from Tiber, big excavator do that. So if you see the excavator off to the side, that's our guys doing that. I believe that's it.
Okay, no other questions? Thank you, folks. Who's next?
Who's on your list?
You what?
Who's on your list?
Well, I'll go, okay, let's see how it was.
I don't want to get out of order here.
I think we already have. Of course, there was nowhere out either. Bureau of Land Management, my gosh.
Oh, all right. Well, let me introduce myself for those that don't know me or recognize me. I'm Scott Haight. I'm the BLM field manager out of Butte. Butte covers the BLM land in Broadwater counties, so that's why I'm way over here today. I started writing a list of what's going on BLM land here, and I thought I didn't have much, but I stopped after almost a full page. So, and some of this you might already be aware of. Wanted to talk about the Iron Mask Forage Reserve allotment. I've mentioned that before. It's about 6,000 acres we picked up in 2007. We've made that a forage reserve allotment, meaning anybody upon application can graze their cattle there. The idea is they would be cattle that are displaced from, say, a vegetation treatment project or a fire or a drought can then come on and use that, essentially a grass bank. We're trying to get some of the infrastructure in place for that. We need to put up one fence, and we're going to drill a well this year. So after we do that, it'll be open for business. So we're looking forward to getting that done. We're also going to do some trailhead construction there at the end of White Horse Lane and then out by Iron Mask. So that'll make it a little more accessible for the public and hopefully give people a place to park and everything else. Regarding the Limestone Hills Military Training Area, we manage that in cooperation with the Montana National Guard and the Department of Army. One of the requirements of the legislation that established that is we have to publish a notice in the Federal Register saying here's the legal description and here's a map that goes with it. We had a tough time coming up with a legal description because it had been surveyed along fence lines instead of by Alka parts, and so it made it really tough. So we finally got that squared away, and we're hoping to have that published real soon. It's just in and sitting there waiting to be published. But we need to get that done by September because that's when the Army, they won't give the National Guard a license to operate in their a permanent license until that's published, so we're all anxious to get that piece of business taken care of. As part of that, we've also put together a mining implementation agreement. That is an agreement that allows for the ongoing operation of the Graymont limestone mine inside the training area, in coordination of the mining with the military training, so there's no conflicts out there. I just did my last review this morning of the agreement, and I think we're ready to sign it. So hopefully we're there, because that's also something else that Department of Army wants in place before they license the Guard to continue their training out there. Well, another item is the Park Gallatin Broadwater Travel Management Plan. And the part that might interest Broadwater County is the travel plan includes a 17-mile non-motorized trail system out of Copper City. And I can't remember last time I was here I know we signed it October 31st, and I think we were through the appeal process. No appeals, so we're ready to go on with on-the-ground construction. I was out there last week with Adam Grove, and we looked at a couple of implementation issues that might make it a little more wildlife friendly. So I think we got those squared away. And then we're going to meet with, it's actually a trail system, that's going to be built by BLM, but we're going to use volunteer labor and grant money. So one of the mountain biking organizations is coming in Friday to meet with us to talk about that. But, they're looking to spend like $250,000, and evidently these things have to be designed just so, and it's not always cheap or easy to give the mountain bikers the experience they're looking for. They're not just looking to get from point A to point B, but looking for quite a thrill along the way. So we're going to work with them on getting that trail laid out. May have mentioned we did get some money to stabilize the Johnson Stamp Mill up Indian Creek, a historic structure. So we've been working with Paul Putz here in town and Larry Hoffman, and they've got a plan. They bought some material. We're consulting with SHPO on the stabilization plan, but we're going to get that done this summer. So that should be a nice thing to get taken care of once we're done. Hopefully it'll last another 100 years. And then we're also going to do the Iron Mask Mine reclamation. There's an old abandoned mine up in the Iron Mask area where we acquired those lands. It's got some waste piles and tailing piles, and we've gone through this long convoluted process, but we finally got the reclamation plan finalized, and the contractor will be out there, well, probably as soon as it dries up, June or July, and get that done. So in other news you may be interested in, the docks have been installed at Hauser Reservoir last week at all the campgrounds there, and they'll be done this week at Holter, getting those docks in. So we're ready to go for the season. So that's all I got.
Any questions for the BLM? Go
I
ahead.
have one question. I probably could have called you and asked you this, but can you tell me where the Iron Mask Trailhead is going to be located?
Yeah, that'd be easier to show you. Maybe we can get that after this, but it's a couple miles off the.
I don't know, it's pretty small, but. Doesn't go high enough.
No. I need to look at my own map to
Okay.
show you, but yeah, you make that sharp turn up Indian Creek and then head up towards, kind of to the north. It's about a mile or two in there. And I'm thinking that's not a good spot for it, actually. I was wanting to move it back down a little bit. Because if somebody with a horse trailer is trying to get in there, it's just gonna be a wreck.
So, okay, so you'd take Indian Creek and go,
Go north,
keep going north?
yeah.
Okay,
Like I said, I can show you easier than I can tell you.
thank you. And then the White Horse Trailhead, must have been you that I spoke with
On the
about the
phone?
trapping
Yep.
on White Horse. Do you have any information on the trapping on the White Horse Trail? Because there's a sign up there, and were you able to look at it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I went out there.
And so there's trapping going on the White Horse Trail, and so I'm just curious if you're gonna be putting a whole lot of money into there, they're still going to be allowed to trap, correct?
Well, I guess we need to talk about that.
Okay.
And how, if it's gonna get a lot of public use, we may have to work with FWP and see about put some buffers in there or something, I don't know.
Okay. That's all.
Yeah, that's a
So I'll
little,
find you after the.
that's not exactly what we were looking for there, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Scott, do you have a timeline on the, non-motorized trail system at Copper City?
Well, I don't, simply because I think they're in the fundraising phase right now, the group that's gonna do it, they've gotten quite a few donations. I think somebody just dropped $5,000 on them the other day. But it'll probably go in phases, they'll probably build the beginner loop and then the intermediate loop, and then, maybe over the next 3 or 4 years, get to the advanced loop. So it's not, and that makes sense, they don't have to do it all at once, they can get a loop out there and get people interested.
Actually, it's a good plan to do it in stages. All right, thanks.
Any other questions for BLM? Thank you for coming over. Fish and game, I guess, whichever one wants to start on that.
No, it goes.
I'll give it a try. Adam Grove isn't here this week. My name's Ron Spoon, the fisheries person. Got Eric Roberts, who's fisheries out of Helena, and then Josh Leonard, the enforcement person. And since I briefed you last week at Mike's DES meeting, I'm gonna give you the very short version of the zebra mussel issue from our perspective. Lee, definitely need to chime in too if you get a chance, but so about 10 days into having the crews out there, prior to April 15th, it was just us cobbling together inspection stations at Silos and Shannon. And now we've had crews trying to train them, and we want to hear back from you and get a lot of feedback as you see things not working well. Whenever you do, you need to make sure to let us know. The basic drill there is that there'll be 4 ramps that will be for all boaters that will have inspection stations. It'll be Silos, Goose Bay, Hellgate, and Shannon confuses me a little bit. Is it gonna be Shannon for sure, or?
It's gonna be at the visitor center, actually, it's supposed, that's where it's supposed to be set up. We did special use permit and everything, got that process for the visitor center, which is just, a quarter mile, half mile away from the actual Shannon boat ramp there. There's just a lot more room there for them to set up that station, have boats pulling in there. Now that was supposed, and I haven't seen the final ruling on all this, but they were saying most of those ramps on the north end were gonna be local boater only. Well, that might present a few problems, but we'll have to see as we go through it.
Right.
Because some of the campers are coming from Butte or whatever, or further distances out, but,
Right.
so we'll have to see how that plays itself out.
And some folks here may not, I think all the commissioners probably know, but there'll be the places where there's inspections and anybody can launch and pull out. The local boater ramps will require that you have a sticker. The main reason for this is that to streamline things for people that are just gonna be working the fishing Canyon Ferry. And so all ramps will be open if you have a local boater sticker, and I just want to make that clear. Those local boaters don't need to be inspected when they come off the lake, but they do need to be inspected before they go to some other water, and their boat will be tagged, and that would allow them to go to Georgetown or Flathead. And just this week we did add our Townsend office as a place where you could get a local boater sticker. So unfortunately I don't have full-time hours there. We're trying to do the best we can, but try to make it as local as possible to get that sticker. Some of you folks may be all confused by this, it may be. But the commissioners are pretty, I guess I want to make sure you guys just get your questions answered, and if you start hearing problems, make sure and let us know. We're trying to keep things moving as quickly as possible. Not because we're not concerned about the suspect zebra mussel sample, but during this first year, we want folks to really get well educated and find out this isn't gonna be a big hassle and not drive them away from our lake. Eric or Josh, would you add to that rambling?
If I can real quick, Josh,
Yeah, go ahead.
it dovetails in kind of with what Ron's talking about. I'm Eric Roberts, I'm the area biologist out of Helena. I did talk to, we've got coordinators that overseeing all the field work and everything. And so right now we're still manning inspection stations at Silos and at Shannon. And as seasonal staff gets hired, more stations will open around the lake. So right now the target is May 15th to have the 4 ramps, the 4 inspection stations that Ron referenced, to have all those, basically to have everything on the ground and running by May 15th. It's no small task because most of the seasonal help is college students and that sort of thing. But that's the target right now, is May 15th to have everything up and running. If that lags a little bit, that's also a possibility because it's hard to hire this many people for this type of job for what we pay them. But that's sort of the timeline we're looking at now, is May 15th to have everything up and running. Now let Josh go.
On the Shannon, or your guys' visitor center, Alex Matson, the Helena warden, he's going up there with a big boat today to kind of drive around and see how convenient it's gonna be for that decon station. So as soon as he
Cleaning
gets,
station,
what's that?
cleaning station.
Cleaning station,
Thanks.
sorry.
Way to go.
Oh, yeah, I'm on this one.
So he's going up there and then he's gonna report back to Justin Huckaluck and let them know kind of what they thought. The Hudson boat he's taking out is one of our enforcement boats. It's pretty good sized. And then his truck too is a little bit bigger, so we'll kind of know how that's gonna work out for bigger boats on the north end. And then the only thing I had was compliance so far around the lake's been really good with people in this whole program. We had one little issue up at Shannon where a guy wasn't very nice to the people working the inspection station and a little disorderly, and then sounds like we might have had something yesterday at Silos that we're kind of looking into. But so far everything's been really good as far as people being willing to work with us and all that. So I gave you guys an update on that so you kind of knew about it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else, you got any more questions for the Fish and Game while they're here? Anybody else got anything? Yes, if not, or just,
I guess we could ask how spring bear season is going.
I haven't heard yet. I've been helping landowners with calves getting eaten by bears, but I haven't, as far as bear harvest for hunters, I haven't heard, or turkey either. Turkey's kind of a little bit, not big numbers, but yeah, spring bear not so much yet.
okay, well, thanks again to all you for making it over and seeing in 3 months, I guess it is, or whatever.
So we're good to go?
Yeah.
We'll see you guys, what,
Thank
in a couple
you.
weeks?
Yeah.
Fire?
May 8th, the fire meeting. All right, yep. Is that at 1 o'clock too? Did we set a
Think so.
time?
It's in the book,
All
the
right.
appointment book. 1 or 2 sticks in my head.
Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, thank you.
That's confirmed.
That one?
Yeah.
Hey, Lee.
One, I don't know.
Did you bring those over and leave them at the office the other day for me or not? I haven't been back in the office.
Oh, no.
Okay,
There.
I don't know, I just got over here from what's happening around here.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it.
Went down there. Well, then, come out of there, I had like 3 inches of mud on my face. I had 20 pounds of mud on there.
it's pretty muddy down there.
Yeah.
Still mine, I was in the
Just the one. Still? Well, like I said, you get all that moisture. It's
Yeah.
not gonna fall.
See, that road's been really good. Put gravel up there for it, ever since we did that lining in there.
See, I went down there and looked at that penstock with that bad rocker.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to,
Either one.
told Leonard, I said, you need to show me that, I need to see. So when he's got it yipping from Billings about this bearing, this rocker arm, at least I know what the hell we're talking about. And it's a simple fix, but it's not that easy. I mean, it would be a simple fix.
No, no, we're still like.
Getting that suspended enough so you can remove that, what's there. Design it, either fix what's there, or design new stuff and install it. It's not easy to fix it.
Yours with your
And with that, we end this meeting.
Good to see you, Lee, thanks.
All right. Pretty close to the boundary.
Well, it was moved in there. It wasn't built.
You're talking that little stamp mill on the north
Yeah,
fork.
the eight or
Off to the
Oh,
left.
to the left.
Oh, yeah, that is so cool. I
Yeah,
know.
we got.
I mentioned this to Leonard the other day. I need a formal request from the district to do maintenance on the low side of that substation, low side of that transformer.
Paul's been pushing it for years.
Didn't we give that to you the last meeting, or?
No. You guys are gonna have to send me something, either electronic or
Yeah, he went out.
hard copy, best
I
to
just
be right,
didn't think it would survive.
so I can start the contracting process, the agreement
Back to
process.
nature.
'Cause Bill sent me a template, what I can use, so I can.
Do you wanna call Doris
And when they're up there working.
and tell her exactly what she was having? I get to her and try
You know, and Larry Hoffman, he's.
Yeah, real late, huh?
Underground.
Okay, go ahead, you had her number?
Yep.
Their cell number is 980-3574.
Okay, Doris.
Yeah.
I'll give her a call.
Yeah, that'd be the best.
Cool. So,
That would be nice.
when
Sounds
you
good.
guys are working on,
Thanks.
Yeah, you bet.
Iron Mask access for Whitehorse, is that gonna be a volunteer project?
Yeah, we're gonna,
Okay, well,
you know, Al's been
I
wanting to.
guess we'll adjourn at
So we
1:40.
should just tie in with Al, because
Well,
I know we have a few fans, people who review